Hello everyone, welcome to today's live session. I'm Shamima Shumi, Destination Manager at 𝐶𝐞𝐽 Education Limited. We have been a trusted UK University partner representing more than 80 top-ranked UK universities for the last 8 years with 100% visa success rate. In our today's session, we have our special guest with us, Mr. Kulinda Reddy, who is the Senior International Officer of one of our prominent partners, QA Higher Education. So, hello, Mr. Kulinda, how are you?
Hi, Sami. Very well, thank you. Thank you for arranging this session. I look forward to speaking with students
Yeah.
and showing them what we can offer.
So, at first, I'd like to thank you for joining our live session, and we are very pleased to have you today. So, dear students, we do have QA Higher Education with us, which features seven top-ranked universities in the UK. And today's session will be more focused on the upcoming May and September session, like what facilities, which courses, and how many scholarships the features universities are offering for the upcoming session. So Mr. Kulinda is going to provide you all the necessary information. And if you have any questions in the meantime, you can put them in the comment section below, and we'll have a question and answer section at the end of our live. So now over to you, Mr. Kulinda. Can you please introduce yourself once again to our students and let us know about your higher education limited history and all, please?
Sure. So, hello, everybody. My name is Kuli Verdi. I work in the South Asia team for QA. I'm a senior pathway officer. So, my main remit is pathways, but I do cover UG and PG programs. Thank you for joining the session. I really look forward to speaking to some of you, and hopefully, we'll be welcoming a lot of you onto our campuses in the near future. First, I just want to cover some key things about the UK. You know, UK education is globally ranked as one of the best in the world. I think it regularly comes up first or second in the world compared with the likes of America. But you know, you as an international student at the moment, there's never been a better time to be an international student. You know, you have so many different options compared to what it was like 10 years ago. Now, being an international student, you have so many options available to you. Not just the UK, but you have the likes of Canada, America, Australia, Europe. And the key thing I really wanted to cover was why should you look at studying in the UK when you have all of these other countries? You know, the UK, we are the home of education. You know, 4 of the top 10 universities in the world are based in the UK. Key things are you do get skills that employers want. You know, when you look at the big companies, especially in Bangladesh, like Grameenphone, Amazon, Microsoft, all of these companies will seek out foreign degree holders. And out of those foreign degrees, the UK degree is always the one that's most sought after because in the UK we have a very practical way in the way we teach. So it's not just learning from a book like you have in South Asia, where it's not theory-based education. There's a very strong practical element in the way we teach. So, you know, it's about getting our students business ready, you know, developing your problem-solving skills, your analytical skills, which when you then go into this workforce, which, let's be honest, is going to be the most competitive workforce we've ever had, you know, with the likes of the pandemic and this current global economic crisis that every country seems to be having. Jobs are a lot harder to get now. So anything that gives you a competitive advantage, like a degree from the UK, is only really going to help you. So yeah, look, you know, just goes to show 1 in 4 world leaders has at one point studied in the UK. So hopefully we have a future world leader that we're going to be speaking to today. You have access to world leading research. So look, the UK is home for research. You know, our research capabilities in our universities are globally recognized. I think just to give you an example, for the pandemic, you know, the Oxford group came out with the pandemic a vaccine very, very quickly, and we were able to introduce and roll this out in the UK before any other countries. I think key things for you as a student when you're looking at is course lengths. You know, in the UK, our degrees are a lot shorter compared to these other competing countries. So, for example, our master's programs in the UK are 1 year, whilst the other countries are 2 years. The undergraduate degrees in these other countries like Canada, Australia, America are 4 years, whilst in the UK it's 3 years. So, you know, you can save yourselves time and, more importantly, money, and start your career sooner when studying in the UK. some of the things about the UK as well. So students have access to world-class support and guidance. In the UK, we are the government is very keen to ensure that the standards of education are met and the teaching outputs are there. So we have QAA and TEF. So TEF is a teaching and excellence framework, and this was introduced around 10 years ago, and it came out because a lot of the universities in the UK rankings, when students look at rankings, they will always go to QS, Times Higher Education, or Guardian rankings. Now, a lot of the UK universities will be ranked very high in those rankings, because those rankings really focus on research capabilities or research powers that the universities have. And a lot of universities in the UK, they're smaller universities that don't really focus on research. So their rankings will come down. They'll be 80, 90th in the UK or in the top 1,000 in the world. But that doesn't really give these universities or you as a student a true representation of what this university does or what they're really good at. So ultimately, students are taking a degree. You guys want to take this degree because you want to get that skill set, the knowledge, and that degree. So when you go back home or wherever you go in the world, it's going to open up doors for you. So this is what you can introduce the teaching and excellence framework, because this monitors the teaching output, the quality of teaching, the student satisfaction, and more importantly, the outcomes. So how many out of 100 students at this university, once they've completed a degree, are in work or further education within 6 months? So I would always recommend, by all means, look at QS rankings, look at TEF, look at QS rankings, look at THE rankings or Guardian rankings, but more importantly, do look at the TEF rankings. It's gold, silver, and bronze. So one of our partners, our pathway partners, Solent University, for example, has just been awarded triple. That's the highest. That's the highest qualification, or that's the highest achievement you can get on that. That really does show how well this university is doing in terms of its teaching satisfaction and output. So when you look at their rankings, they might be slightly lower, but that is not a real true indication of who they are. More importantly, look, I think with the UK, we are known globally for being a very multicultural country. I was lucky to be born in the UK. My parents are from Punjab in India, so I understand how hard it is in South Asia, and I understand that when students come over to the UK, one of the key reasons they're picking the UK is the diversity, is the fact that they're not going to be in a classroom with other students from South Asia. They want to get that international experience of building up an international network, learning about different cultures and different people. And how business is done differently all over the world. The way business is done in China is completely different to the way business is done in Africa, to the way business is done in Europe. And the great thing is when students come and study with us in the UK, they will get a true international experience. They'll learn these different cultures. They'll build an international network with the students that are going to be on their course. Finally, I think one of the key things that I would say is the UK at the moment is probably one of the most cost-effective options for you to study in. If you look at a student, if you look at course fees in America, Australia, Canada, compare them to the UK, you are going to save a lot of money because one, our course fees are slightly cheaper, and our course lengths are shorter as well. So you're going to save yourself time and money. And I think another key thing is the fact that the UK, we're very open in the way you can live your life. We're a very multicultural country. No matter what city you pick, I think the key ones we're going to discuss today are London and Birmingham, but they are very multicultural cities. We have very strong South Asian communities in both of these cities, and pretty much every city in the UK. So the great thing is if you're coming over to the UK to study, you'll be able to go to the places of worship. So you can go to a mosque, mandir, gurdwara. You'll have the food that you used to eat back home, and you'll have these communities where you'll be able to speak your mother tongue. You're probably going to have friends or relatives that are in these cities. So it is a home away from home. And again, kind of in terms of South Asia, the journey or the length of your flights, the distance is a lot closer than these other countries. Let's say you're in America and God forbid something happens and you have to fly home very, very quickly. it's going to take you 17, 18 hours to get home. Whilst in the UK, you can jump on one flight, 7, 8 hours, you're back home, which then does give you that flexibility as well. And I just think finally with the UK, we are a very unique country where we are made up of 4 different countries. So, when you come and study in England, you have the likes of Wales, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Ireland. So, all of these countries have its own unique history, and they're all kind of clumped together. So what I would always recommend is when you're a student, especially if you're doing a master's course and it's 1 year, a lot of students will just stay in that one city, do their master's, and then, apply for a PSW or whatever they want to. Please, guys, do take time to visit these other cities, these other countries that are all tagged together, because it's a once in a lifetime opportunity to come and study in the UK. And I think you really should try and maximize your time when you're here by not just studying, but also getting to experience all these different cultures.
For a nice explanation. The students from Bangladesh graduating right now are they like to study on the biggest cities like London, Birmingham, right? And we do have universities over
Yes,
there.
yes, we do. So I'll just quickly cover the campuses or the partners that we have. So with 𝐄𝐲, we have 4 university partners that we recruit internationally for. So we have Solent University in Southampton. It's a coastal university, triple gold accredited, where we have a very strong foundation portfolio. So the great thing with Solent is because it's a coastal university, they really do excel in maritime related courses and shipping and port logistics. Very strong in engineering. Their fashion school is ranked in the top 100 in the world. It's a really, really good university to study, and it's not too far from London. We would always recommend students to stay on campus for the first year, especially the foundation students. But yeah, it's a really, really good opportunity. And I don't know about yourself, Sumi, but I know if I've had a bad day and I can go and sit by the ocean, automatically my life's going to feel better. So it's these little things that do add up. But in terms of London, we have Northumbria University. We have the London campus, where we have a very strong portfolio of postgraduate programs. We have some undergraduate programs, and we've just launched our international year 1 offering in central London. It's a flagship campus.
Can you hear me? Linda, we cannot hear you. Can you hear us? Yeah.
Hey, Sumi, I'm back. Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. I was talking. I think Facebook got bored with my talking, and they were like, "Khalid, enough talking, carry on now." So I'm not sure where I left off, but look, we have a campus in Northumbria campus in London. It's one of our flagship campuses. Honestly, guys, it's state of the art. We've just had it refurbished. It is an amazing place to study and learn, and it's in the heart of the financial set part of London. So students that do pick a business degree are going to get real exposure of what living in London is, and ultimately, I think London is one of the most sought after places to live and study in the world. It is a beautiful city. It is everything that you see that you've seen online. It is such an amazing city. And yeah, so we do offer postgraduate programs, undergraduate programs, and we have just launched our international year 1 offering in Northumbria. With Ulster University, we have a campus in London as well. Again, flagship, beautiful campus. And we do offer a very strong portfolio of postgraduate programs as well as some undergraduate programs. In Birmingham, where I'm based, I will always say Birmingham is the best city in the world because I live here. We have just moved into our new campus for Ulster University. Again, it mirrors our London campus. It's a purpose-built building solely for QA students. And it is just a really, really nice place to come and study. You know, the last thing you want to do is go to a cramped little classroom. It's all open space. It's been designed to ensure that students get the most of the facilities. And it is in a really, really nice part of central Birmingham. So yeah, Birmingham campus Birmingham as a city is a very, very good option for students because it's not as expensive as London. London is a beautiful city, and I would always recommend everybody to go and visit. And if you can study there, brilliant. But let's be honest, it is one of the most expensive cities to live in the world as well. And the way, you know, especially in South Asia at the moment, with the way that the currencies are fluctuating and stuff, you know, a lot of students might be looking for the most cost-effective option. So Birmingham is only an hour, 10 minutes on a train away from London. So the great thing is you can live and study and in a nice, quiet part of the UK. It's still a very multicultural city. You know, it's the second city in the UK. And then during your downtime, you know, if you've got family or friends, you can then take a day trip or a weekend into central London. Because Birmingham is in the middle of the country, you know, it's only an hour and a half from Manchester, hour and a half from London. So it's a very, very good base. A very big international airport there, and there's a lot of direct flights.
So students who are looking for universities with affordable fees in London and Birmingham usually choose Ulster University.
So, Sumi, you're breaking up there. I couldn't really catch that. Can you just say that
Yeah,
again?
yeah. And that students who are looking for, affordable tuition fees by leaving London and Birmingham, they can easily choose Ulster University.
Yeah. So look, again, the great thing is with Ulster University is one of our most popular partners. And a lot of the courses that are run in central London are taught in Birmingham as well. So there's no real difference. You know, the students are still going to get that same awarded end degree. The teaching facilities and methods are all pretty much mirrored with each other. So but it's just that cheaper cost of living. You know, central students to live in London is very, very expensive. So what they probably pay for a week in central London, they would probably get for 2 or 3 weeks in Birmingham. So as you can see, that would then help them save.
So can you please tell me about the universities having main intake, upcoming main intakes and also
Yeah, so another great thing about QA is the fact that, you know, with a lot of universities in the UK, they will only have 2 intakes. They'll have a January intake and they'll have a September intake. And I know with Bangladesh and South Asia specifically at the moment, we have the students are facing a lot of visa delays. So they'll go through the entire process. They'll get their their CAS. They'll apply for their visa, and then it's taking them 5-6 weeks sometimes to get a visa. And what happens is they miss an intake. And unfortunately, if they've applied to certain universities, if they miss a January intake, they have to wait 9 months to then go through that course again. The great thing with QA is we do have a May intake. So any student that misses January, you know, if they've applied for any other university and they don't want to wait 9 months, you know, we do have a May intake where we have a very strong portfolio of postgraduate programs that we run. The undergraduate courses, obviously, because the way they're structured, we don't have any for May. Those are January and September intakes only. But we do have that portfolio of courses for Northumbria and Ulster University, where we can offer students the PG programs.
yeah. So in terms of undergraduate courses, as we know that Ulster University offering bachelor in computing systems in January and September session. So
Yeah.
do you have any business related undergraduate courses offering by this university?
Yeah, so we do. I mean, the great thing is we have looked at our postgraduate, because we're very, very strong on our postgraduate portfolio, and we have started to look at extending these into the kind of the bachelor's program. So what I'm just going to do is, because I've got the kind of the May intake up at the moment because I really want to just cover what we do offer for May because obviously that's the one that we're closest to. Um, I cover those, but we do offer bachelor's programs, but I'll cover that in a moment. But for the master's programs, guys, look, I think as an international student now, look, I'm a bit of a dinosaur. I'm 45 years old, and I remember my parents. They came over from South Asia to the UK, and they were saying to me and my brother and my sister, who I'm the youngest of three, and they were saying, "You have to become a doctor, you have to become an accountant, or a pharmacist or dentist, because that's where money was. That's where where if you went into those kind of professions or a lawyer, those are the kind of jobs that are going to give you job security." Flash forward to 2024, we are now in a total different day and age. Those jobs, those sectors, those industries are now very saturated. And courses like anything that's related to cyber, IT, AI, anything in those kind of fields are going to be, they're the fastest growing sectors in the world. Before the pandemic, we as a human race, we were moving towards a digital age. And what's happened is the pandemic came and hit, everybody was locked down. We jumped into this digital age before we were ready, about 20 or 30 years before we were ready to kind of be at that stage. So we've jumped 30, 40 years ahead, but we haven't got that skill set. So, there was a global demand for IT, AI, digital data, for example. Data is now one of the most valuable commodities on the planet because with data, they can control. They know what you like, they know what you see, they can control everything with that. So there's stuff like data technology, data analytics, these things, these kind of courses are industry leading, and they will kind of give you job security like the old day jobs like accounting and pharmacy and doctorates and all of that. Those are now changed, and any international student that's looking for something that's going to give them a very strong career moving forward, I would always say to look at those kind of courses. So in terms of the kind of May intake, we do have our portfolio of kind of business courses because the UK, we are home for business degrees. We are global leaders in business. So the great thing is with business degrees, if anybody is looking at a business degrees they are one of the most open-ended courses. If you take a business degree, you can work in any sector in the world, and every industry, any sector in the world will have an element of business in it. Business degrees are the most popular, they have the most transferable skills. As I said, you can go into any sector, you can go into HR, you can go into marketing, you can go into finance, you can go into project management. So it does open up, it does keep your career options very open. So we have stuff like business with business analytics, business with financial management, business.
I think there might be a network issue from the other side. Kalinda, can you hear me? Please stay with us. We're trying to connect our guest, so please keep patience. Okay, so our guest is coming back very soon. So we were talking about Austin University having May and September both intakes, and they're offering postgraduate degree and undergraduate as well. They're offering postgraduate degrees in January and September, and also in May. And they're having 1 year and 2 years PG programs. And the students who wants to study in their campuses like London and Birmingham, they can easily go there, and with affordable tuition fees and living cost in London and Birmingham. And there you can find so many business courses, as he already mentioned, like business analytics or marketing related, international business, HRM. So, if you want to embellish your future, enrich your future, you can easily take an option to apply any of the campuses or any of the universities offering or featured by QA Higher Education. Also, students who are going to apply in the UK will have 2 years PSW, post-study work permit, after completing their undergrad or post-graduation, and during their degree, they can work 20 hours part-time and full-time during the vacation. And after completion of their degree, they will have 2 years PSW. So if you are interested and if you already missed the January session, you should not wait and apply for the upcoming May and September session, which are available till now. So if you have any questions, can you please put them in the comment section below so I can answer or and to our students, I'd like to mention that we are having three biggest international education expos in Dhaka, Sylhet, and Moulvi on 27th, 29th, and 13th. Dhaka, Sylhet, and Moulvi I already mentioned. So please do join our fairs and get to know more about the universities featuring by Pure Higher Education. And you know, if you want to apply by the universities featuring by pure higher education or any of the universities in the UK, you need to get assistance how to write an SOP, how to make your academic documents properly, how to properly apply university in a perfect way, how to arrange your documents. You can freely keep contacting us or any of our branches so that we can help you to find out the proper university or proper course for you so that you can process your journey, you can process your academic journey with us hassle free. So, okay, we are just trying to connect him. Let's wait a bit. So let's see our short video regarding Indian Global Education Limited. We'll be back soon.
Hi.
Hi.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. I think my laptop just froze, so I had to restart it. But then, yeah, look, again, this is why we need people to do these IT courses so they can fix my IT issues. Um, yeah, sorry about that. So I can't remember where we left off or where I left off.
The
So
courses offering by Astra University.
sorry.
Astra University courses you are talking about.
Yeah, sorry. Okay. So yeah, in terms of the courses, there is that strong list of postgraduate programs that we offer. Um, I mean, is there any specific courses? Is there any students on here that want to discuss any specific kind of courses? I'm happy to kind of run through that with them.
So can you discuss about the placement here? The courses come along the placement here.
Yeah. Okay. So look, with QA, what we do offer is we do offer the 1 year standalone master's program, or we do offer a master's program with an advanced practice option. So an advanced practice is our version of an internship, um, and that's so we add an extra year onto that program. And the great thing is, look, the reason why work placements have got so popular is because back in the day, if you were 10, 15 years ago, if you're a student from Bangladesh and you flew over to the UK and got a master's degree and came back, you would be, one of the most sought after people in the country. However, what's happened over time is a lot of people have come over to the UK and got a British degree or a degree from a foreign country and gone back over. So that has kind of diluted the market slightly. And what employers in Bangladesh or key areas in South Asia and key countries are now looking for is students that have got more than just a degree. They want students that have got some real international experience of working for a multinational company or an English or British company. So the great thing is that internship option is something that QA excel in. Look, every university in the UK will offer an internship. However, the onus really is on the student to find that internship. The universities will help as much as they can. However, the onus is really on the student, and um, the internship market in the UK is one of the most competitive in the world. Just to kind of give you some kind of context, I did look at some stats on this. There's around 65,000 internships available in the UK every year by companies. However, there's around 300,000 students that are graduating every year. So as you can see, that number doesn't go into that number. So it becomes very, very competitive. The great thing with QA is if you do study through QA through one of our partners on a master's program with the advanced practice, because our business has lots of different facets. We have a consultancy arm of the business. We have a training arm of our business where we work with 80% of the top 250 FTSE listed companies in the UK. We can utilize and leverage those relationships, and we can try and place our students in with one of our corporate clients, or if not, we can then put them into a consultancy arm of our business. So where students will be working on a live contract or project. So in essence, we are probably one of the only providers in the UK that can guarantee an internship for students. And I think this is why we are one of the most popular providers in the UK.
So whether it has been secured uh, the job after the completion of the course.
So yeah, look, I nobody. If anybody tells you here that they can guarantee you a job, then they're not they're lying. Nobody, I can't sit here and guarantee anybody a job. But what I would say is, put yourself into the mindset of an employer. An employer, you've taken on an intern from Bangladesh. They've worked hard. They've understood your business. That you've trained them up to a certain extent, and they work very well. They go in every day. They do their job. They're pleasant. They get on well with the team. Why would you not employ that person? If they've got all that skill set and they're hungry and they're determined, then yeah, look, there's a lot of vacancies in the UK at the moment. I think because due to kind of the European exit that we've had and other kind of factors that have come into play, but there's a lot of jobs at the moment in the UK. So look, I can't guarantee anybody a job, but as I said, if you're an employer and you had a student or somebody come into your business and they work very, very hard, and you did have that international license, then yeah, look, by all means, there is the opportunity for people to gain employment. But again, one of the key selling points for the UK is the fact that we do offer that post-study work visa. So the great thing is you can come to the UK get that world class qualification. Where, let's be honest, wherever you go in the world is going to open up doors for you that not a degree from back home wouldn't. You can also work for 2 years, so you can get that work experience and gain some real international exposure for to add on to your CV. And in terms of additional things that we also offer as well, look, as I mentioned, one of the key reasons people come over to the UK to study is to get that degree. So they can open up doors for them. They can go back home, work for Gramophone, Amazon, Microsoft, all those big companies, right? Now, alongside the degrees that we teach, we will also offer additional workshops where we help CV. Look, I've been in recruitment now for 25 years. It's been a very long time. And the amount of times that I saw a candidate that was perfect for my client's job, but because their CV wasn't worded right, or they didn't know how to write a covering letter which had key phrases that makes their covering letter stand out, or if they got an interview, they didn't know how to prep for their interview, so they didn't close their interview, they didn't get the job. So alongside the programs that we run, we have regular workshops where we'll help students, sit down with students and help them write their CV or show them how to write their CV to make it stand out, how to write a covering letter where it really, really makes that thing stand out. You know, if you're a HR manager or a hiring manager and you've got 30 or 40 CVs that have been shortlisted by your HR department and you have to go through each one of the covering letter, you're not going to read every single one. You're just going to look for key points. You're going to scan it and there's going to be key phrases that are programmed in your mind that you're looking for. And it's helping students understand these kind of little techniques that they do. And also in terms of interviews, you know, it's how do you prep for your interview? What kind of questions to ask on your interview, and how do you close your interview to ensure that you get the job? So it's alongside our master's programs with our key university partners. Students will get that guaranteed work experience. They'll get these short additional tips and tricks of the trade on how to kind of go out when they go into the workforce to get these jobs, to really, really help make them stand out. And with our PG programs as well with Northumbria, a lot of the courses that students take do come with some kind of professional accreditation as well. So, you know, if you were to, let's say I'm a student from Bangladesh and suddenly you're a student from Bangladesh, I went to a generic UK university, I got my master's degree, however, they couldn't help me, I couldn't get an internship. So all I've got on my CV now is just that degree from that university, which will still help me, but then suddenly you were clever, you went to QA, well done. I hope you enjoyed your experience and you got your degree, right? But on your CV, you will have your qualification, you will have that work experience, you'll have a professional accreditation on that CV as well from that course that you've done. And you'll have short additional courses that we also offer students as well. So, you know, you'll have up to 5 or 6 different things on your CV compared to my one. Now, if we were an employer, which one would you pick? You'd pick the one which has got more qualifications, more work experience, right? So these little things really, really do help us stand out from the crowd.
So can you please cover academic and ask the entry requirements for the postgraduate at university?
So, you're breaking up. I couldn't understand that.
Okay, so I'm repeating again. Can you please cover postgraduate entry requirements at Ulster University?
So, yeah, sure. The entry requirements. I'll just bring that up for you now. So in terms of the postgraduate programs, if students have already taken a master's program, then ideally we're looking at a successful kind of 50%, which is a 2-2. Or if they've done a 4-year bachelor's from a recognized institute, then again, they can get on the 60% mark or 65% ideally. If students have scored slightly lower than this, then obviously there is the option for the extended master's program. So we also offer an extended option where students can come and they can basically, if they can't get direct entry onto this program. So, are you still there? Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I thought you broke up there. So students that can't get direct entry onto a postgraduate program, we do offer an extended option. So basically, extended option is our version of a pre-masters. So a student would come, they would take their pre-masters or a single semester pre-masters, and then they would gain entry onto their master's program. The great thing is we can put this on one visa, so students don't have to worry about, do I come to the UK? Do I have to apply in country after I've done my pre-masters, and then do I have to fly home and come back? It's on one visa. Students can come in, they'll do their pre-masters, extended option, go straight onto their master's program. And we run that with both of our university partners that we offer their postgraduate programs with. So that's Ulster, London and Birmingham, as well as Northumbria University in London.
I was wondering about the scholarship. So, what's the maximum scholarship you're offering? Also, is there any merit-based scholarship?
So look, I think with QA, what we've tried to do is, I think with a lot of universities, look, I've been in this industry for 12 years now, and what a lot of universities used to do is they used to do it on merit-based. However, that can be very unfair for students, because let's say somebody, well, again, I'm just going to give me and you as an example because me and you are both here, okay? So let's say somebody, I'm a regular student, person from Bangladesh. I went into a state school where there were 100 other kids in my class. You know, the teaching facilities were below standard. I'm learning from dated textbooks. I really haven't got a strong skill set. No fault of my own. It's just the way the system is. Suddenly, your parents were slightly richer, and you were sent to a private school. So you had 15, 20 students in your class. You had one-on-one time with your lecturer, and you scored higher. So due to no fault of my own, because I was based in that scenario, I scored lower, you scored higher. So historically, when scholarships were given out of merit-based, I would need that scholarship more than you, because obviously my parents couldn't afford to send me to a private school. But because my grades were lower, I didn't get that. Your parents were a lot richer. You went to a private school, but you got more scholarship than me. So the way we've tried to do is we've tried to do a universal scholarship. So doesn't matter what grades you are, what your background is, we will give you one standalone scholarship for every single student, which is the fairest way that we can do it. I believe this is always the fairest way, because nobody is then disadvantaged. So with Ulster University, it does average around 15% scholarship. Yeah, so I think if you look at that, that does represent a very good saving. And if you then take into consideration the kind of lower fees in Birmingham, it does really stack up to make a very cost-effective option for students looking to study a master's program.
Okay. So, I just want to know, is there any alternative English language test apart from IELTS and CUA?
Yeah, so again, look, before the pandemic, my life was very, very simple. There was a black and white list of English tests that were accepted, and then English tests that weren't. The pandemic hit, everybody was locked down, and UK universities were like, how are we going to get these students accredited somewhere? So stuff like language cert, Duolingo kind of muscled its way in, and it just it kind of became a very grey area. Now it is kind of getting back to some kind of normality, but we do accept IELTS. I would always recommend, if students if they want to take an English test, then IELTS is always the most globally recognised one. Pearson's is also accepted as well. However, what we do at QA as well is we do offer all of our students the option for an internal English test. It's a free service offered to every single student. The only requirement that we would say is that the student needs to be on a minimum conditional offer. So anybody that's listening out there, if you want to come to the UK and you haven't taken an English test yet, then don't worry, you don't need to take that English test if you want to apply to QA. What we can do is we could submit your application through EN Global. They will then make your application. Once you get a conditional offer, we can then book you in for a free internal English test. It's very similar. If students here have already done an English test before, then it's very similar to an IELTS test. So you have a speaking, listening, reading, and writing element. As I said, it's done over Skype, so you can do it from your own home. There are some kind of test requirements, so you're not allowed to take this test in a public place, such as an internet cafe or shopping centre. You may be asked to move your camera around just to ensure that you're by yourself. You need to be by yourself throughout the entire test. Needs to be in a well kind of lighted room, and have a stable internet connection. Now, I know internet connections globally are very, very strong. However, if you live in a rural area, for you to sustain that signal for 2 to 3 hours without it dropping can be slightly problematic. So what we would always say is, if you want to take the test, EN Global should have, if you guys do have a spare room in your offices, please go and take it with 𝐸n Global, because we know that they'll have offices in more built up areas where they'll have that more stable internet connection. And the great thing is, look, with this test, it's valid not only for entry onto your course, but it's also valid for your visa as well. So you can save yourself time and money. You know, a lot of students will go and the only reason they'll ever go and see an agency is they can't meet the direct entry requirements, or by themselves. They've looked online, they've seen the university entry requirements, and they've thought, okay, I've got this. And the biggest stumbling block is always the English test. You know, some people don't do well in tests. Their English skills might be very, very strong, but they just don't do very well in a test scenario. So they get nervous, and automatically they go into a test, they freeze up, and then their scores drop. You know, not because their English language skills aren't good, it's just that they get nervous. And what happens is, if somebody fails a test and then they rebook it and then they go back in, automatically they're very, very nervous, because they felt like, I've already failed the IELTS test, I've had to take it again, and they do even worse. So it can be a downward spiral. Great thing is, guys, look, if you've taken an English test already, but you haven't met the required score, or if you haven't taken an English test at all, you can save yourself some time and money by booking it by making the application through 𝐸n Global, get your offer, and then we can book you in for a free internal English test.
So one thing I need to add, that students from Bangladesh, they completed SSC, and after that HSC and apply are eligible for the bachelor program. So most of the students here completed diploma program, 4 years diploma program after the SSC. So are they eligible for the bachelor, direct bachelor?
Again, this is one of those questions where it's very hard to give you a yes or no answer, because what would happen is the admissions team would then basically look at where this diploma was taught, whether this institute was on the NARIC system, and then they have to map it across to what the UK education system is. So historically, yes, look, with a four-year program, students should be able to gain entry. However, it is a variable thing. So what I would just recommend is, when you're speaking to students, to make the application, and our admissions team can then pick it up, and then you can give a definitive answer.
So tell me about the offer turnaround time for Ulster and Northumbria.
Okay, so you know, I think with QA, with Ulster and Northumbria University, we are pretty much in the same boat as every other single UK university, where we have been inundated with applications from South Asia. So we do turn around our offers as quickly as possible. However, during the closer you get to an intake, the more application, the more volume comes in, and this is what creates delays. It puts immense pressure onto our admissions team, and that does unfortunately lead to kind of delays in offers. What I would always recommend students to do is, if you are interested in studying in the UK, especially for a specific intake like in May, or even if you're looking at September, guys, I would recommend you make your application now, because the sooner you make your application, especially for September, because it's kind of, we're still quite a while away from it, we're not going to have that kind of mass influx of applications. South Asia is historically a very late market, so we will always get applications very late on in the recruitment cycle. That's just the way it's always been. So anybody that's interested in studying in the UK, you ideally need to be looking at 3 to 6 months in advance. So if you're thinking May's too early, I want to go in for September, but I'll make my application in May, June, don't worry, because I'll still have enough time, you won't. Please do try and make your applications as soon as possible. At the moment, we're probably looking at a 7 to 10 day turnaround time for offers. For May. September one should be coming out slightly sooner, but I would say on average 7 to 10 days. But obviously, the closer you get to the intake, Sonia and people listening, the longer the process will take.
Okay, Mr. Philippe. So I think we are about to end our session today. So, Mr. Kulinda, do you have anything to say for our students also regarding 𝐸n Global?
Is there? Yes, it should be. If you want to just speak with the guys here at 𝐸n Global and get your documents across to them, somebody please send that across to me, and what I'll do is I'll check with our admissions team and see what kind of entry point now we can offer that student.
So thank you very much once again to our viewers and students, and thank you once again, Mr. Kulinga, for your valuable time and
You're
precious
more than welcome. Sorry about the drop off. So I really do apologise about that. Okay, is there any airport pickup facilities for international students? We don't offer a pickup per se, but what we do is for our foundation programs, we have 3 embedded pathway centres. So Northumbria University in their main city campus in Newcastle, 30,000 students, an absolutely beautiful campus. University of South Wales, where will offer the foundation program in Pontypridd, their Tree Forest Pontypridd campus, and the international year 1 students will be studying in Cardiff, and Solent University in Southampton. All of those courses, the foundation and international year 1 programs, because they're on main campus, they do have accommodation, so students can stay on campus. For the main campuses like Ulster, London, and Birmingham, and Northumbria, London, because these are city campuses. These are kind of really geared for the mature student that wants to get that kind of city experience. We don't offer accommodation. There's no accommodation facilities. However, we do have a accommodation department within QA. So as soon as you've made your deposit payment, and you're about to, or as soon as you've made your deposit payment, our team will automatically send you out an email, and they'll say, "Hey, Sunny, look, we know you've got your unconditional offer and you've paid your deposit. Congratulations. Do you need any help in finding accommodation?" And then what you can do is you can liaise with them, tell them your budget, say, "Okay, look, I can spend X amount of money on accommodation a month. Can you please try and find me something local to the university?" And they will go away, speak to our verified vendors, and then come back to you with a list and say, "Something, look, from the price point that you've given us, there's these 5 different options that we can offer you." The online academic is no longer accepted by Northumbria University. They will only accept tests that are done in a test centre. I think what equivalent test apart from QA. So again, this does vary upon university. So as I mentioned earlier, there's no black and white list that I can give you, unfortunately, because all of these universities have different kind of English tests that they accept. If you want to speak to the guys at Ian Global here, they will then be able to give you a list for each specific university partner that has those tests, or what tests are accepted for which university partner. Also, Fazil, I've just covered this. So yeah, look, with Birmingham, we don't, because it's a city campus, we don't have on-site accommodation, but we do have a dedicated accommodation team that will be able to help you find something within your budget. So again, Taslim, this does depend upon which university partner that you're looking at. So some will, some won't, but I would always say the key ones to look at would be the kind of IELTS, Pearson's, and if you've taken a test that's not valid by the university, fear not. You don't have to go away and take an IELTS test. You can then take that free QA internal English test. Okay, very good question, Abdul. So in terms of the English test, what will happen is you will take your English test, and then based on your score, if you don't get the required score, our English team will come back and say, okay, if it's only one element that you failed in, so let's say you needed 5.5 in each band, you got 5.5 in everything, but then due to being nervous or something happened, you scored 5.0 in listening because your speaker or something wasn't working right. You're allowed to retake the up to one element. So what we will say is you could keep that 5.5 and everything else that you banked. You could then do a retake in that one element. If you've scored lower than you need in a couple of elements, our English team will say, okay, someone unfortunately didn't get the required score. We would recommend that you need at least 4 to 6 weeks of English training to get to this required score. So we would be able to rebook you in for a test within 2 months. So you would then need to go away, re-practice or take a short English course, and then you could then book in for a retake. We do have a pre-sessional English classes that we offer. These are valid for every single one of our courses, and these are taught online. So they're in 6, 9, 12-week options. What would happen is you would make your application, get a conditional offer with the condition being English, book yourself onto our pre-sessional course, which is all done online, so you can do it from your home. Once you've passed the pre-sessional English course, that would then your English condition would come off. You'd go unconditional, and then you could then carry on with your application. So again, I've covered this, MD. It does depend on which diploma, which college you've learnt it at. So I would always say to put your application into EN Global. They could then make their application to us, and then our admissions team would pick this up, and then they would be able to kind of match it against whichever college, whichever institute that you've learnt at, what the qualification is and where that is equivalent to on our UK education system. And then they could come back to you with your entry point, because sometimes you might be able to get direct entry. Sometimes they might say you need the international year one, or you might be able to do something else.
So I've got one more question. When a student received overall six and only one man got five, can he seek only that particular module for interview?
No. So let's say it's a really good question. So if a student's got 5.5 in each band, but they've taken an English IELTS test and they got 5.0 in that, then no, we'd have to take the entire QA internal English test.
What about the internal test? What about the internal test?
Yeah, so one element, if students scored one, if they've missed it in one element, then we will allow them to retake that one element.
Okay.
They won't have to do the rest, it'd just be that one element. So you just log online and say, okay, suddenly you need to redo your listening module, then they'd retake that for you. Early bird scholarship. So yeah, look, sometimes we do. It does depend on whichever promotions that the universities are offering. Historically, we have offered this, and sometimes they do bring it back. It's not something that's done every intake, but in terms of deposits, I would just say, guys, that with QA, we do offer a first come, first serve policy. So our courses do regularly sell out, as somebody will be able to tell you. A lot of students do unfortunately miss the intake because they think they'll hold on right to the last minute. What I would recommend is, if you have decided on QA and you do want to come to one of our university partners like Ulster or Northumbria, please try and make your deposit payments as soon as possible. Don't try and wait and think, I'll hold on, because the later you leave it, the more chances that course will sell out.
So what about the big cash interview deposit, cash deposit?
Sorry?
Cash deposit, I was asking about.
Okay, so deposits, they roughly are look, firstly, with any cash deposit, you will have a minimum that you would need to pay, okay? What I would always recommend any student to do is overpay on that. Never just pay the minimum. Even if it's £200-300 extra, always just go a bit above, because it just looks a lot better on your visa application. But it's roughly around £6,500 for Ulster University, 5,500 for Northumbria. But I would always say, guys, roughly pay slightly over. If you can afford to pay your full fees, always do that, because look, a lot of people, or a lot of students, it's going to be the first time they've left their home country. They're going to come over to the UK. It's going to take time for them to adjust to the climate, their new surroundings. They're going to be learning in a style that they've never been taught before. So they're automatically on the back foot. They're under a lot of pressure as it is. The last thing they want to do is have to worry about finances as well. So if you do have the option to pay all your fees up front, we would always look to recommend you guys to do that. And again, just going back to that kind of teaching style, it can be hard. Look, not everybody that will come to the UK to do a degree will complete it, because it is hard. And this is why these degrees are so sought after, because anybody that's kind of completed a degree in the UK, it just does show that they have that skill set, which makes them stand out from everybody else. Just to give you some kind of context in terms of the teaching style. So everybody from South Asia, let's say we're both from Bangladesh again, for 12 years of our life, or 16 years of our life, we've gone into a university, we've gone into a class, morning, sir, morning, lecturer writes a question on the board, we look down, there's a textbook in front of us, we look through it, find the answer, write it down. And we both know that through that entire academic year, everything that we're going to need to learn is from this textbook. So we memorize this textbook, right? theory-based education. Flip this, you're in the UK now. We both come to the UK. Lecturer comes in, morning, say, what's the question on the board? You look down, there's no textbook in front of you, it's a blank piece of paper. You need to find the solution to that problem, the answer to that question using your problem solving and analytical skills, which can be very hard. You know, sometimes it takes students 6 to 8 weeks to reprogram their mind from learning theoretical to practical based learning. So what I'm really trying to say is you have a lot of pressure on you as an international student. You're learning a whole new method in a whole new country. You know, it's cold, it's wet, especially if you come in winter. You don't know anybody, you miss your family. You've got all that pressure of trying to learn a new education system as well. But you don't want to put finance issues on that as well. So I'd always say, guys, if you can pay as much as you can, try to clear as much of your balance as you can. For the foundation programs, it is 100% deposit from students from Bangladesh. And then it's 75% from all other South Asian countries.
So after making the initial deposit, how many days the student will get to make the remaining deposit?
So it depends on the length of the course. So if a student is taking a 1-year program, they will have up to 3 months to pay back their outstanding balance. And then if they're taking more than a 1-year program, they will have 6 months to pay back their outstanding balance. Ultimately, what I would say is our finance team understand that they're really great people to have in. We're very lucky to have our finance team because they do understand that students from different countries will have issues sometimes. So they will work with students to try and work out something that's suitable for both parties.
All things are covered in today's session, and I think all our students got all the necessary information regarding their university admission process. And dear students, you can do visit any of our branches to get to know more about the universities featured by QA Higher Education and to make an application. Thank you, Kulinder, for your valuable time, and I
Thank you.
appreciate
No, it's a real pleasure. Look, I've worked with 𝐸n on and off for 5-6 years now. I know your brand very, very well. I know him very, very well as well. And what I like about you guys is you're a very ethical agent. Guys, look, if there's any students out here that are looking to come to the UK, you do have to be very careful with the agency that you pick. What I can just say about 𝐸n Global is they're a phenomenal bunch of people. I've met pretty much every single one of their staff personally, and they will always give you honest advice. You know, a lot of agencies, what they will do is they will a student, you'll go in and they will try and force you to go to a specific university because that's where they've got an agreement with or whatever. The great thing with 𝐸n Global is they will put you first. They will always put you as a student first. What is going to work best for you? And then they will always give you the correct guidance. So yeah, you can't pick a better agency than 𝐸n Global.
really very nice to work with you as well. Very cool, well getting offer, well getting for cash and all. So thank you so much for your support.
You're more
And
than welcome.
thank you so much for joining today's session. It was
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Look, guys, hopefully you found this session useful. Look, I'm more than happy to run independent sessions with students if you want me to, because I know, look, ultimately, I know how, personally speaking, guys, look, I know how hard it is for people in South Asia. My parents are from Punjab in India. I know people from South Asia have to work 100 times harder to try and do something or make that change. So ultimately, what me, Sumni, everybody that you will speak to at 𝐸n Global or anyone that you meet at QA, our job is to ensure that we give you the correct guidance. We'll never try and force you into something that you don't want to do. We want to help you to try and achieve your greatest career aspirations, so you can then make your life better ultimately, which will then make your children's lives better, and so on and so forth. So what we do as a profession is, it's very rewarding because we get to change lives on a daily basis. And me personally, as I said, I've got that heritage. I know how hard it is. So from our side and 𝐸n Global side, we will always give you the best advice, and we'll never try and force you into something that you're not ready for. But in closing, I hope you find the session useful. Give you a bit more insight into our university partners, our really strong courses, the scholarships, and look, we do look forward to receiving applications from you guys, and hopefully if you do see me on one of the campuses, you can just grab me and just say, hey, I saw your video, because it's always nice to kind of see the journey that you've taken.
We are hoping you to see in our upcoming fairs. We have the biggest representation, which goes on 27th, 29th, and 30th at Bangladesh. So we are hoping to see you soon on that fair.
Fingers crossed. I'll try my best to be there someday. So I can't promise, but if I do, then I look forward to seeing all you guys face to face. I think these fairs are very, very important, because you really get to physically meet the people, and you get to ask those kind of questions that you always wanted. Like I know we've been talking for over an hour now, and we've asked, is there any questions? Because there's a lot of information that you've just got. You're going to think no, and then we're going to end this session, and you'll be like, oh, I didn't ask that question, or I didn't ask somebody that question. Feel free to reach out to the guys at EN Global, and they'll be able to answer any questions you have. And look, if I do see you at any live event, please do come and say hello, and we'll see if we can guide you and help you in your careers.
Thank you so much for joining. It was a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you. Take care, me. And sorry about the technical delay. Yes, technical issues.
It's fine. No issue. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Take care and stay safe, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Okay.